Hello, my dear Franken-friends, and welcome to Spookyou, your one-stop shop for all things ghastly and ghoulish. I'm your host, Barnabas Vixen, and, well, we've got something very special for you tonight. You see, long ago, before this channel was ever created, there was another creation by our vivacious voiceover virtuoso, Trey Falco. The Tom WORLEY Cases podcast. It follows Tom WORLEY, detective extraordinaire, as he solves cases in the town of Medimaville, where all manner of spooky and supernatural things are normal. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and geists? Check. Werewolves, shifters, and vampires? Oh my! You get the idea. Anyways, we wanted to share this with you all because it seems to fit so well into the narrative here on our channel, and so over the next couple of weeks we'll be uploading the episodes right here on Spookyou. So without further ado, on to tonight's story. Oh, and one more thing. Due to the nature of these podcasts, we will not be interrupting them in the middle with our typical sponsor breaks. Sorry to our dedicated sponsors out there, but we're sure you'll understand. Okay, here we go! Between the cracks and receding darkness of this world lies another, living and breathing, always shifting just out of view. It's there that the true terrors that haunt your deepest dreams dwell, and they're watching, waiting, ever vigilant. I'm Thomas Dean Worley, a consulting detective for the Medimaville Police Department, and these are my cases. Vengeance and justice, two sides of the same coin. And if you're not careful, it's easy to find yourself on the wrong side, justifying your actions with some misguided sense of truth. As you'll no doubt observe in these cases that I'm about to share with you, an evil stench exudes from every piece of information that I've collected over these years. And by listening to this, you're listening at your own risk. There's no way to tell who or what may be watching, and they aren't too keen on having their dirty laundry aired to the public. They will find you. It's only a matter of time. I finally found my man, and I'm about to get the answers that I've been waiting years to hear. Regardless of the helplessness of the situation that I've found myself in, this is exactly where I want to be. I glared into those cold, dead eyes of the ragged ghoul slouching before me, and his rattling breath was drifting down towards me, and I could smell the decay. So, this is what you've been up to all these years, NURI. You know, I actually took you for more of the touching kids type. Drug lord doesn't really fit your style.
Quite the contrary, Tom. This is where I thrive. In my element. I can have anything and everything I want. All it took was a little hard work and getting my hands dirty.
Oh, you've always been dirty. Kind of like a dung beetle. You've always got your nose in shit that's not yours.
Always with the clever quips. You haven't changed a bit.
I shifted my weight and got a little more comfortable. Then I felt the barrel of the gun dig into my back.
Now, Oscar. There's no need for unpleasantries. Our guest isn't going anywhere.
The pressure on my back lessened before disappearing completely. NURI gave a nod and I heard the footsteps of the man behind me trail off. I'm actually surprised he'd leave me unattended like this, but he's right. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not stupid enough to make a move. Too many people to get involved. No, I just needed to wait for backup. They should be here any minute. You know, since we're getting caught up here, why don't you tell me what happened the last time we met? I tried to hide the malice in my voice, and that solemn face of his split into a grin.
I have no idea on earth what you mean. You thought you had me cornered and trapped like a rat. But I had no intentions of going into custody that day, and I saw right through your adorable little plan.
I don't care about the plan. You know what I'm talking about.
You mean that hot little number that always stuck by your side? She was like a puppy, never more than 2 steps behind you, and trying to get in your lap. I savored every drop of blood I spilled from her pretty little body.
His breathing grew heavier, and I clenched my fist. I'm not sure how I managed, but I remained kneeling. though every fiber of my being wanted to end his miserable existence in that moment.
That's the day you lost your position on the Force, isn't it? I really put a damper on your spirit, and I can see you still haven't recovered. Just a ghost of the man that you once were, Tom. You were great. It's tragic, the sight of you now.
I like to think of myself as more of a revenant. I'm here with a vengeance, NURI, and I'm not leaving until you're in handcuffs and on a one-way trip to a jail cell. You know how they treat ghouls on the inside, and I hear you've made your fair share of friends in there with all of your traitorous antics.
You really think you're gonna take me in? Look at yourself, Tom. You wandered straight into the lion's den, and you're mere moments from being devoured.
Thick smoke began creeping under the closed doors and into the warehouse. Shouts of fire started from the people inside, and a stampede ensued as they panicked and searched for an exit.
This is your doing, Tom. I should have known you'd have some sort of plan in motion. I can't believe I underestimated you.
Now, this wasn't exactly according to plan, but it's better than taking a bullet to the head in this warehouse. NURI turned and started to run, and I got up and sprinted after him. You know, for someone that looks like they haven't skimped on the supersized fries, he was surprisingly nimble. But I guess with enough adrenaline, even an elephant can move like a gazelle. He slid over a table and grabbed a filing cabinet, toppling it down behind him and attempting to cut me off. I jumped onto the table, and then over the debris he left in his wake. I was gaining on him. He cut a corner and through a door, slamming it behind him. And I followed, dropped my shoulder, and barreled through. God, I'm gonna feel that in the morning. He wasn't expecting it because he turned around, startled.
Look, Tom, we're trapped in an inferno. What good is it if we're both dead? Help me find a way out of here.
Why'd you kill her?
What? Now isn't the time. Didn't you hear me? We're gonna die.
Why did you kill her? I took several menacing steps towards him, backing him into a corner. The arrogance and smugness drained from his body and shifted to cowardice and desperation. And I could see the panic in his eyes as they flickered around the room, searching for a way out.
Because he made me do it.
Yeah, and who is he?
They're Lynx. A menacing little fellow, feral as a rabid wolverine and insane. He could have ripped me apart had I not agreed to go along with his sick game. He wanted to see you hurt. Don't ask me why.
The smoke started billowing in from the hallway. We didn't have a whole lot of time left, but how could this be? Who is the Lynx, really? And why was he targeting me? None of this makes any sense. I had no idea who this psychopath even was until today. What kind of rabbit hole have I found myself in? It just keeps digging deeper and deeper, and I don't have an end in sight. Only more and more questions. Why did you frame him for the murder of Henry Williams?
Who?
The photographer!
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, I had a nice chat with the Lynx earlier today. According to him, you killed Henry Williams and framed him.
Wait. You spoke with him? The Lynx is here?
NURI's panic shifted to full-on terror.
I know you're here. He knows. The Lynx knows. I'm a dead man. I'm dead. Dead, 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 dead. Worse than dead.
NURI tried to wrestle his way past me and into the raging fires, starting to devour the hallway. Luckily, I stopped him and pushed him back. What are you doing?
I'm dead. Worse than dead. Don't you get it, Tom? You led the Lynx straight to me. Do you know what he does to those that have outlived their usefulness? He likes to play with his food before he eats it. Like a cat toying with its prey.
NURI tried to make it past me once more, but I stopped him and pushed him back. And all of the struggling mixed with the growing lack of oxygen was taking a toll on me. The pain in my abdomen was growing stronger, and my vision tunneled. Time was running out. I hope NURI can take a fall because we're going through that window. I rushed him, and holding on tight, we toppled through the window behind him and fell a few yards before crashing to the ground. I loosened my grip and rolled over. I've definitely had better ideas. I turned my head to see that NURI was still breathing and writhing in pain. I guess ghouls weren't made to bounce.
Kill me, Tom, please. Kill me.
I struggled to a sitting position and then climbed on top of him. I grabbed him by his collar and with my free fist began pummeling him. Blow after blow, I could feel the rage inside me, lessening. And before long, I didn't feel anything anymore. My body was numb. Is this what revenge feels like? Is this what justice feels like? No. No, this wasn't justice. This was a broken man trying to beat some sort of meaning into his failed attempt at a life. I stopped swinging, my fist hanging in the air, unsure of where to go or what to do. A raging attack dog that just heard its master's desperate pleas to stop. I stepped out of my head and back into reality. NURI was still breathing. He was a bloody mess, but at least he was still breathing. His breath was shallow, and I could hear the blood clogging his airway as he tried to breathe.
Tom, kill me. If you truly are a merciful man, and a harbinger of justice.
He slowly lifted his hand to his head. He curled all but 2 fingers, and then placed those fingers on his temple like a gun.
You'll take that revolver of yours, place it to my head, and pull the trigger. You don't know what's waiting for me if he gets his claws on me.
It's taken me 6 years and a lot of beatings to realize that I'm not a killer, NURI. No, you're gonna rot behind bars in a maximum security prison where the Lynx will never be able to reach you. And you're gonna live out the rest of your days trapped in a cage like the worthless rat that you are. Killing you would be a disservice to this town. No, they need to see you in custody. I rolled him over as his whimpering pleas bled into the background and were overtaken by the sound of sirens. They sure took their precious time. I could have been dead by now. But it'll take more than this to kill me. The officers relieved me of my suspect, cuffed him, and led him away. They were trying to get me to ride back to the hospital, but all I wanted was a nice glass of whiskey, a cigarette, and maybe a bag of ice to place on my abdomen. 6 years is a long time to be chasing leads and hunting down the man that murdered my wife. But I finally brought her killer to justice. Maybe now I can find some sort of peace. Thanks for listening to the Tom Worley Cases podcast. If you like what you hear, then make sure you head on over to our Facebook page and give us a like at facebook.com/the Tom Worley Podcast, or follow us on Twitter at Podcast Worley. This episode was written and produced by Trey Falco. The voices of Tom Worley and NURI were Trey Falco. The main theme song for the Tom Worley Podcast is Noir by No Copyright Sounds. Other songs used are Trips by Topher Moore and Alex Alena, Persephone by Retro Funky, the Sundance remix, On the Cool Side, and Night on the Docks by Kevin MacLeod. Noir can be found by visiting the channel No Copyright Sounds for YouTube on YouTube. Trips can be found by visiting Lion Free Music on YouTube and searching for the Sad Urban Noir background instrumental track. Persephone can be found by searching Sundance Music on SoundCloud and Bandcamp, or by visiting their website at lefthandmusic.fr. On the Cool Side and Night on the Docks can be found by visiting incompetech.com. That's INCOMPETECH.com.